Before writing this script, I rewatched my A23 review. I did it to see what areas I was looking forward to Samsung improving on. And quickly, I saw that they improved in some key areas, but also got worse in some other areas. So let's talk about it. Clearly, the design was changed, and some might actually see that as an upgrade because it does look like the more expensive S series. I wouldn't really recommend you get this color though. This is the Gradient Glow, and although the fanciest color available, it catches every single fingerprint mark. Like, you would have to clean this every single second in order for it to stay presentable. Another upgrade might be with the U-shaped notch, which makes it look like the more expensive A24, but it still has significant bezels around the display and an even more significant chin at the bottom. Design is a really weird one, but for the most part it is an upgrade from its predecessor. It did retain some things though, like the Gorilla Glass 5 protection for the screen, the headphone jack, a side-mounted fingerprint reader, the one speaker at the bottom, 2 microphones, expandable storage. Like, these are all nice, but one thing they didn't retain is the charging brick. It's gone. So yes, you only get a USB-C to USB-C cable as your accessory. And for those wondering, it doesn't have an IP rating. The A23 didn't, so this isn't a downgrade, but I just thought I should mention that. Earlier, I talked about how the notch on the A24 looks like that on the A34. But not just that. Also, just like the A34, the A24 has an AMOLED display. The A23 was a PLS LCD display, so this definitely counts as an upgrade. Its resolution is 1080p and it has a 90Hz refresh rate. It also gets plenty bright at up to 1000 nits. Like I said with the A23, the bezels might throw you off at the beginning, but you get used to it pretty quickly, especially because of the quality of the display. It's 6.5 inches, so it's large enough for watching content even with those bezels. And then for the responsiveness, it was okay. In the settings, you either choose between 90Hz or 60Hz, so there's no adaptive setting. And for me, it was a 90Hz all the time, and I didn't notice any significant battery drain. Because this is an AMOLED panel, we do get an always-on display, which you can edit in lock screen settings. There are a couple clock styles, and you can use an image as well. There are other cool software features like Live Transcribe, Smart View, Secure Folder, and even Samsung Kids, but it still doesn't have an inbuilt screen recorder for some reason. It's running on Android 13 and Samsung's One UI 5.1, so thankfully not the core version. My favorite thing about One UI would be their color palette and how you can apply it to app icons. So whenever you change your wallpaper, your entire phone kinda changes. For me, One UI has been very stable and I haven't encountered any major bugs. Samsung is also known for supporting their A-series devices for a decent amount of years, and for the A24, they're promising 3 years of major Android updates. My only gripe with software is the lack of a screen recorder. I really don't get why that wasn't added. What they did add is a better processor this year. The A24 comes with the Helio G99 processor, and while Snapdragon fanboys might be upset, this is still better than the 680 that was on the A23, and it isn't even close. The chipset was used quite a bit this year in phones around this price point, and performance is very decent. My unit comes with 6GB of RAM and the option of up to 6GB of virtual RAM. So multitasking was really good. It holds app in the background pretty well, mostly without them having to restart when you try to open them. Navigating the UI was pretty smooth as well, didn't experience any hiccups, and overall it was a satisfying experience. Gaming was also very decent with the A24 because it was able to play games at HD settings with no lag and no overheating issues. Performance was definitely upgraded. The cameras though appeared to be the exact same with the exception of the depth sensor. Clearly the main camera is the focus, and judging based off the photos I took, it does alright. When taking photos of plants, objects, and even humans, the images pop. They're not the most detailed, but they do alright. One thing I noticed is a bit of shutter lag. So when taking photos, you want to stay still for a little bit, unless your photos would come out blurry. But yeah, other than that, the main camera does alright. The selfies are not as good. They're sometimes soft and also have that shutter lag issue. So you need to be pretty still when taking selfies too. And I thought this was weird. The camera struggled to get my hoodie right. That happened with videos as well. It was a cream and orange hoodie, but somehow the camera just couldn't figure it out and it totally messed it up. The rear cameras though are much better. It shoots max at 1080p and the footage is very stable. So yes, the OIS does work. Do let me know what you think about the photos and the videos of the A24 down in the comments. Battery life depends on your usage really. It's a big 5000 mAh battery and because of its size, it makes sense to conclude that this is a one-day phone for most people, and I think it is. I did a couple battery drain tests and this is what I found. 30 minutes of gaming took about 6% of the battery, meaning you can game on this for about 8 hours before it dies. Then I watched a 30-minute episode of a show and it took just 3% of the battery, meaning it will take about 15 hours for the battery to die if you're just watching movies. That's a lot of movies. In the box, we get no charger. The A24 supports 25 watts of wire charging, but the charging brick is sold separately. The A24 is priced at around 150,000 right now. And when compared to the A23, the AMOLED display, faster processor, refreshed design, and better battery life makes it a worthy upgrade. My only issues are the selfie camera and maybe the lack of a charging adapter. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Galaxy A24. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you when you see me.